Hey, I'm Rachel J, and this is Cultivator Kitchen. Today we're going to talk supplements. Everything I take as a raw vegan on medical medium lifestyle, and some recommendations on how you can know what to take too. First, I'm going to give you some background on supplementation, the pros and cons, and why it's necessary. And then I'm going to go through every single thing that I take one by one and by category and show you those. And then at the end of this video, I'm going to make some recommendations on how you can figure out what will work for you. And if you haven't watched it yet, please go back and watch my health story video first. I will link it in the cards above and in the description below so you can know what specific health issues I've been dealing with in the past, and that of course has informed what supplements I'm taking. So if you haven't watched it yet, go give that a view first and come on back. And I want to give a disclaimer to start with. I am not a doctor, and you should definitely be working with your primary care physician to do blood work and find out what's going to work for you. Check with existing medication you might be on. As I mentioned, everyone's circumstances are different. So this is not medical advice. This is just my experience and what has worked for me. And you want to make sure that you're checking with your doctor. There seem to be two different camps on supplementation, especially in the vegan and raw vegan community. You have on one end people saying, if you're eating the ideal diet, you should never, ever, ever have to take supplements. And on the other end, people recommending a ton of herbs and tinctures and supplements that can get quite expensive. For a lot of years, I really believed that if I had the exact perfect diet, I would never need any supplements. And unfortunately, after 7+ years of being vegan, I've proven that that is just not going to work for my body. So some of the reasons why diet can't eliminate everything is we live in a heavily toxified world. If you walk outside, even if you ate the perfect diet, you're gonna breathe toxins in the air. The water you have is gonna have more chemicals in it. The food we buy in the grocery store, if your food is commercially grown, for sure it has different chemicals and toxins on it, probably even if it's organic. And of course, we're all living in a constant state of stress, which our bodies aren't designed for. So many of us would never have a magnesium deficiency because there's a ton of magnesium in fruits and greens. But when we're stressed out, which we can feel all day at work and quite often before work, after work, most of the day, that's what we're burning out is our magnesium stores. Just as one example of the effects of stress, right? We know stress affects us in a lot of different ways, and it can burn out our adrenals. There's a lot of things it can do. And also with our schedules, we might not be sleeping enough. Sleep is a time when our body is often restoring itself. So the ways that we live and the world that we live in make it so a perfect diet can't eliminate all of those factors. Another example, it could be where you live. So for me, I live so far north, even if I went outside every single day and exposed my skin to the sun, I cannot get enough vitamin D at this latitude most of the year. So I absolutely up here have to supplement with vitamin D, and I have tested that. I have seen extremely low levels of vitamin D, so I've just got to do that. If you live somewhere warmer than me, I think anywhere below latitude 40 in the north, I don't know what the southern hemisphere equivalent is, you can get enough vitamin D if you're outside quite regularly, and you might not need to supplement with that. But luckily, vitamin D is an easy one because you can get tested and then make an informed decision. So that's why for me, the no supplement approach just isn't feasible. At very least, I have to be taking vitamin D, and I found a few other things that have helped me out. Now, the other side of the coin I mentioned is a medical medium style lifestyle, and a few other lifestyles recommend a ton of supplements. So if you go through the medical medium books, at first you might be really overwhelmed with just the sheer number of supplements that he talks about. And of course, he doesn't say that everyone should be taking all of them, but many protocols have a ton of supplements and lots of different measurements that should be taken and timings for them. And that can be really hard to approach for a beginner. The other problem with that is that a lot of those supplements and tinctures are super expensive. As I mentioned in my health story video, the Thyroid Healing book by Medical Medium and his Life-Changing Foods book were instrumental in where I am now. They really helped me to start my healing journey and to get past my worst symptoms. So I found them really valuable, but of course in the beginning, I started taking a ton of supplements and tinctures that he recommended, and it took me the better part of a year to try a whole bunch, figure out I didn't need that many, and find which ones were actually helping me out. So if you start taking 20 supplements, like I've seen some people do on Instagram that are following Medical Medium, in the beginning, you might not know which of those supplements do I really need. And if you start having worse symptoms, you might think, well, is it one of these? But you don't know because you started them all at once. So we'll talk more about the best way to get started at the end of this video, but I just wanted to mention why I had trouble in the beginning with the Medical Medium lifestyle and supplements. So taking none didn't work for me. Taking way too many obviously didn't work for me. And it also added up really fast and was expensive. So I've done a lot of trial and error, and that's what I'm gonna share with you today. One thing I want to mention, probably the most important thing, if you only take one thing away from this video, I hope it's this: supplements cannot replace or fix a bad diet. So if you're struggling with where to start, even though we really want to believe it, a pill or a supplement can't fix our problem if we keep doing the bad habits that got us there. So a lot of people want to believe that they can be on a SAD diet or a standard American diet, and they want to get healthier, but it's just really daunting to change what they're eating. But they hear, oh, you know, maybe some of this supplement or that supplement with it would help me, and they start the supplement without changing their eating habits. You might get a little relief, I don't know, but my recommendation is start with the food always. If you have your diet and you're eating right, then you can work on the supplementation over time and find out what's going to be helpful for you. So always start with the food. If you're someone who being on a budget is a big challenge for you, and you are wondering, you know, do I spend money on the food or do I spend money on these supplements? Go with the food. So we'll talk more about that, but I just want to say supplementation cannot replace a bad diet. You definitely want to make sure first that you're eating the right foods, and that might give you enough healing that you're not going to need a whole ton of supplements. Okay, here we go. I'm going to show you absolutely everything that I take supplements wise. And as I mentioned, it's taking me a lot of years to get here, and I have done a lot of experimenting to find what works best for my body and my situation. So hopefully you understand that this is really from my experience and not a blanket statement of what you guys should be taking. I'm also going to break this down by category, and hopefully that will help you understand my thought process with supplementation. Okay, first up is what I call my daily supplements. These are the things I take every single day without fail. The first one are these Mary Ruth D3 and B12 vegan gummies. So as I mentioned, I live really far north, and I kept getting tested for vitamin D, and my levels were super scary low. And I realized that it was probably related partially to all the health issues I had going on, but it was also that up here north of Chicago, even if you're out in the sun all year long, which you're not gonna be when it's super cold out, you still can't produce enough vitamin D this far north. So vitamin D is one I absolutely have to take, and B12 is one that's recommended for most people. If you haven't been tested for B12, you might wanna ask your doctor to do that, whether you're vegan, vegetarian, or a meat eater. In the way that our food is made, even meat nowadays, it often is lacking in B12, and that is one that gives you energy as well. So I take these two together, and this is really delicious. So I know you're gonna be like, gummies? Really? That's not healthy. But to be honest, I have tried, you know, the drops, and I've tried pills, and I just don't want to take them every day. I also don't like when I have to take multiple things, and this gets the two biggest ones out of the way for me, and I look forward to them. So for me, that's a win, especially if I'm gonna take it every day. I also just really love this brand, Mary Ruth's, because they're a mother-daughter company. They have phenomenal customer service. Anytime we've contacted them, they've been really, really helpful, and they often have deals and rebates. And if you order through their website, they'll match whatever prices on Amazon. They're just really nice people, and all of their supplements are vegan, and I just really, really like them for that. So that is one thing I take every day. The other one I take every day is this Now brand Thyroid Energy. And I just want to say I am mentioning brand names so that you guys know what I'm showing you, but I'm not sponsored by any products in this video. So this Thyroid Energy is a thyroid supplement. As you guys know, my biggest issue that I've been healing from is a very severe thyroid issue and hypothyroidism. And a lot of stuff that Medical Medium recommends, as well as if you do a lot of research and read medical journals, are all in this one supplement. So I don't have to have a bunch of things. The other reason I love this is it's very inexpensive. I buy this off of Amazon, and if I tried to buy each of these ingredients individually, I'd be spending a lot of money and having to line them up and figure out dosages. So I like that this is combined into one single product. So in here you have lots of B vitamins for energy, also iodine and zinc, both of which are really good for thyroid. And Medical Medium talks a lot about why zinc is important for all kinds of issues. So it's good that that's in here. And I've tried the liquid zinc droppers that he recommends and that others take, and they just taste way too bad for me. I absolutely can't take them, and they make my stomach hurt. Just it's all around a bad time for me. I am very sensitive. So if you're someone that's had trouble with the zinc as well, maybe dial back the dosage or try something like this where it's already included and it doesn't have a taste. This also has selenium. That's a big one that both Medical Medium and a lot of medical professionals recommend for thyroid issues. And it's one that can be hard to get a lot of in your daily diet anyway. So that's great that that's in here. This also has L-thyrazine, and it also has ashwagandha and guggul, which I'm probably saying wrong. So if you guys know how to say that, correct me below, I'm sorry. But those are two Ayurvedic ones that are included in this, and I loved that it included ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is good for energy, for thyroid. It's also just a good balancer. It's called an adaptogen because it adapts to what your body needs and helps you kind of self-correct. So I really like that that's in here as well. So these are vegan capsules. They also have some magnesium and silica, and so pretty much this has helped me with getting over my thyroid issues, having more energy. My husband also takes these, and he says that this has really helped him lose weight and keep it off. So that's his opinion on it. There you go. These are everything I take on a daily basis, supplement wise. That's it. So video's over. That's all I have to show you guys. I'm just kidding. I do have more to show you, but really these are just the ones I take every day. Just a gummy and one of these, and I'm good to go. So that is how much I've simplified. This feels really doable to me. I can travel with this, and these make me feel great, and all of my test results all the time are normal now, which is awesome. All right, the next category is very important, and I call this category whole foods, because the main reason I don't take that many supplements a day is I take a lot of things that I need in what I consider whole food form. And as I mentioned, the best way to get healthy is to change your diet. Change what you're eating, and it's not necessarily to add more things into it to try to correct it. Supplements can be very helpful, but it really comes down to what you eat. So as I mentioned in pretty much all of my what I eat in a day videos, is I try to eat a ton of greens. So this is half a pound of spinach. You can see that's a pretty sizable bowl. I try to eat at least 2 pounds of greens a day. Sometimes it's probably more than that because I put at least a pound in my smoothies. So I'll eat at least 4 bowls of greens a day. Greens are super high in nutrients and minerals, proteins, pretty much all the good stuff. So the more greens that you can get in, I have found, the better that I feel, the quicker my issues go away, the better my skin, hair, nails are, and also the better my energy is, pretty much everything. So I know there's a lot of emphasis in the Medical Medium community and raw vegan community on fruit. Fruit is very important, and I think everyone's doing a great job at dispelling the fear of eating fruit for sugar or carbs, because we all know it's such a healing food. But I think where people often miss the boat is they forget that that needs to be paired with mineral-rich greens. So I always have my fruit now with greens, and I no longer have that flighty feeling or that, sugar rush feeling when I drink a smoothie. I make sure every smoothie I drink has a ton of greens, and then I have salads and snacks with greens as well. So I don't consider this a supplement, but this is one of the reasons I need so few supplements. My next favorite one is what people might call a superfood, but I can grow these in my house, and I have a video coming up to show you that, and they're just a delicious root, and that is turmeric. So I always put a big piece of turmeric every day in my morning smoothie. If you guys have watched my Ultimate Green Breakfast Smoothie video, then you know all about this. And I've also had this in some vlogs for what I eat in a day videos. And again, this is, maybe to some people this would be a supplement, but to me, I can grow this in my home, I can buy it at the grocery store, and it's got anti-cancer properties, anti-inflammatory, it's an awesome immune boost, and it is just so good for you. So I take lots of turmeric. And of course, if I'm traveling, then I can take this with me. And this is just powdered turmeric in capsules. And this is by the Gaia Herbs brand. I really like this one. So I don't take this regularly, but if I'm going to be traveling and I obviously can't take fresh turmeric with me or don't have room for it, I might take some of these, especially because when you're traveling and you're on planes and you're around lots of people, your immune system can get compromised, and I want something anti-inflammatory as well, so I'll take some capsules with me instead. I do prefer fresh turmeric to powdered or fresh turmeric to capsules because fresh turmeric for me has the greatest effect and it tastes amazing. So I do grow these at home or buy them in a store. And the next two things I want to talk about, again, I consider whole foods, but I guess they kind of fit in the supplement range, so I wanted to include them. And that is spirulina, and this is Hawaiian spirulina. This giant jar, I believe I get this at Whole Foods. I mean, this thing lasts us at least 6 months, if not longer. We put a very small amount in our morning smoothie. This is on Medical Medium's list of the 5 heavy metal detox ingredients. And it's also just one of those, it's an algae, spirulina is an algae, and it's one of those things that has a lot of minerals in it that we don't get in land vegetables because we've depleted our soil. So again, you know, it's an algae ground up, so you could probably make this in your own kitchen. So I kind of consider it a whole food and not really a supplement. I keep this in the fridge so it stays fresh for a very long time. So yeah, I have a little bit of that every day. A little bit goes a long way. If you have too much spirulina or you're not used to it, it has a very detoxifying effect. And so some people don't do well with a lot of it. So we really just use a tiny amount every day. And last but not least is barley grass juice powder. I have done a lot of research and I find that barley grass juice powder, it's like taking a daily vitamin. It has pretty much every nutrient and mineral that we can't produce ourselves in one single plant product. And this is literally just barley grass that's been juiced, and that juice is dried until a powder forms. And my favorite brand is the Daily Green Boost. It is super high quality, and it also comes in glass with a metal lid. And you guys know I'm trying to be more zero waste, so I love anything that comes in glass. And then this one also has a metal lid, which is awesome. I mean, if you read the back of this alone, it's got, you know, fiber, protein, vitamin A, calcium, vitamin E, thiamine, a bunch of B vitamins, niacin, vitamin K, iron, vitamin C, magnesium, selenium. I mean, it pretty much has everything in there. So even though I'm eating a ton of greens, I like to add a little of this to my morning smoothie to make sure that I have definitely gotten my RDA of, you know, all of my nutrients for the day, and it tastes super good. So this you can have quite a bit of. You can also have this with snacks, you know, dip some bananas in it or something, and it's really tasty. So even though this is something I could make at home, I like to purchase it because who's got time to make that? I don't, and this is a really high quality product. So again, not sponsored by them, but this one is my favorite. So I consider these whole foods. They live in my kitchen. They're not, you know, they're just part of my, you know, regular ingredients in the kitchen. But I thought I would share them because maybe these kind of fall in the supplement category, or they're why I don't have to take many supplements. And there's other stuff too that I consider whole foods, like chia seeds or hemp seeds. I don't consider those supplements, but they give me a lot of benefits and I do eat them daily. All right, so moving on from things I take every day and whole foods that I eat every day that maybe fall in the supplement category, I wanted to talk about when I'm sick or I need an extra immune boost. So there are only 2 things that I rely on and they are amazing. So the first one I want to talk about is oil of oregano. And this one is by that Gaia Herbs brand, which is kind of my favorite. And as I mentioned in my health story video, I had known about oil of oregano way before I was vegan. I mean, probably more than 10 years ago. I had someone tell me about this when I had the flu, and it was the only thing that helped, and I got better way faster. And of course, now that I'm raw vegan, my immune system is even better, and I'm afraid to say it because then of course I'll get sick. But since I've been on this lifestyle for definitely more than a year, maybe a year and a half, I haven't had a single cold, flu, or infection or anything like that. If I feel something coming on, or if I'm around people that are sick, or again, if I'm traveling and I feel like it's good, planes, for instance, make me feel like it's going to compromise my immune system because the air is being recirculated and a lot of people on planes are sick, then I'm going to take some of this before I even get sick. And I can be around people who are sick and not get it. I go to a class on Saturdays, and recently every single person in the class got the same illness, and I was the only one that didn't get it. I think a lot of it has to do with just my diet and immune system, but I also took some of this preemptively. So I love oil of oregano. Obviously, these are capsules because you can buy the tinctures, but it has a super strong flavor, which isn't bad, but if you know what oregano tastes like, it's very concentrated oregano flavor. So I do prefer the capsules for this, and you will still taste some oregano flavor, but it won't be super intense. The other thing, and this is one I really am glad that I read the medical medium books for because I had never heard of this before that, is Sovereign Silver. So this is silver hydrosol, and it is amazing for immune support. This has actually been around for hundreds of years, and they often use this back in the day before, we had a lot of the modern medicines. So it can be used instead of Neosporin on a cut to clean out the cut. It's both antibacterial and antiviral, which is amazing. So if you're kind of not sure, you feel like you're getting something, you're not sure, is it cold, is it a flu? I don't know. You could take a little bit of this. I like to take them together if I feel something coming on. And normally I just, won't get sick, it'll pass. It's very gentle. It can be used on cuts and scrapes, ear infections. It's good for kids or pets. Just make sure you read the booklet that comes with it or check out their website so you know about the dosage. Also, there are a lot of knockoff brands off there which might have not been made as well. This is probably the only supplement I'm showing you where I'm going to be brand specific. I only buy the Sovereign Silver brand, and I don't buy any other brand for safety reasons. But this is very mild. If you wanted to, you could take it every day, but you obviously don't have to. It's just a great immune boost. And it's a dropper, and it doesn't taste like anything. It kind of just tastes like water, and you can take it orally. So I love this. So for immune boost, or if you're sick, these are the two that I would take. I would take oil of oregano and Sovereign Silver. So I keep these kind of, I guess these are my medicine cabinet that most people would have. So I don't take these every day, but I do take them occasionally when I feel necessary. And the last category I want to talk about is for anxiety or panic attacks or extreme stress. As you guys know from my health story video, I used to have really bad panic attacks pretty much all throughout the day, and I had horrible anxiety, and it really affected the way I lived my life and what I was able to do, and it was a really difficult time to go through. And of course, they talked plenty about it in that video, and I'm also going to make a longer video focused on those topics, so I'm not going to go into all of that right now. But at the time, I took these two every single day. Now I just take them when I feel like I have some extra stress or anxiety and I want to take them, which is not very frequent because those symptoms are really gone for me. So the first one that I want to talk about is CBD oil. And the brand that I have here is called Charlotte's Web. I tried a few different brands and I had a really severe issue, so they just weren't strong enough for me. Start with what's affordable and doable for you. This, out of everything I'm showing you, is very expensive, unfortunately. I think just because CBD oil is new in the US as far as being legal, and they know the market is huge. So unfortunately, a lot of CBD oil products are super expensive. But this one, they have 3 levels and I get the advanced. So this is the strongest one that I found that you can buy that doesn't have THC. So it doesn't have the factor in hemp that would make you high. There's no effect of that at all. When I take this, I really actually don't feel anything, maybe a little bit calm. If you're not someone like me who's, I guess very high strung normally, this, if you take too high of a dosage, you're really just gonna feel extremely sleepy and you might need to lie down and go to bed. So you're not going to get high from this and be having, weird symptoms. If you take too much, you're going to be really tired, which is obviously not what you're going for. So I still have this. You can see the bottle's a little beaten up. I wanted to show you a pretty one, but I've had this a really long time. There's still some left, and so that's why the bottle's not very pretty. But you can do your research on this and see if it's going to be a fit for you. It's also been renowned for its ability to help your body fight cancer and do, it's a great immune booster and anti-inflammatory. So depending on what kind of issue you have, this might be something that you want. It's also an amazing pain reliever. So if you're someone suffering with chronic pain, then this might also be a good thing for you, because you can rub it on topically. Like if I have a really sore muscle and I put a few drops and rub this in, it's like instant relief like you cannot believe. It feels so good. So one of the reasons I still have this, and actually I'll talk about this in a minute too, both of these are also great for helping you sleep and for muscle soreness. So I want to introduce you to this other one here, which I have the giant version of, and this is Natural Vitality is the brand, and this is called Natural Calm. Natural Calm is just a powdered drinkable form of magnesium, and I always get the one that has calcium as well. Calcium helps your body absorb the magnesium. So as I mentioned at the start of the video, one of the things that we get depleted from really easily with stress is magnesium. Even though we should be able to get plenty of magnesium from fruits and greens, we should have a surplus of magnesium. With the lifestyles that we live, where we're very high stressed, then we're releasing a ton of magnesium. So most people nowadays are magnesium deficient, and it's such a cheap and easy thing to fix. Doctors aren't doing tests for magnesium because it wouldn't be profitable. So that's something you can request from your doctor if you want, or, this is pretty inexpensive and you can just have some if you feel stressed out. So when I was having anxiety, I would take every day, I would take a glass with this in it and some drops of CBD oil, and it really helped me while I was working through those symptoms. Obviously, these together are not going to make your anxiety go away, but they can help the symptoms while you work on your diet and your lifestyle to get rid of the anxiety and make it tolerable and help you heal in the meantime. And when I'm traveling, they do make little travel packets of this. Obviously, I find these a little wasteful. I like the big container because I'm trying to be zero waste, and that's much less plastic. These little packets obviously are single use and disposable, so that's kind of a bummer. But if I want to put 2 or 3 of these in my purse, like if I'm going on a work trip and I know there's going to be times where I'm overextending myself and getting stressed out, or maybe, sleeping in hotels can be kind of weird. These also help you sleep, and so I might take a few of these as well. So the reason that I still have these, as I mentioned, is they're also great for muscle soreness. Magnesium is going to help you with that lactic acid buildup if you've had a really hard workout, and CBD oil is also a great pain reliever. And as a bonus, they both are really great for helping you relax and have a really nice sleep. So I don't really have panic attacks anymore. It's been way more than a year, maybe longer, since I had a panic attack. But I keep these around sometimes to have at night before bed. If I've had a really hard workout and I know I'm gonna be super sore the next day and I know I just wanna drift off to sleep, I don't know about you guys, but if I have a late workout, I can't fall asleep because I'm just amped up, especially dance class because I have so much fun. So I will take this just before bed, I'll sleep better, and the next morning I'm not sore. So I really like these for that reason. Again, I don't have these every day, that's very occasional. So that's it, that's everything that I take on a semi-regular basis. For sure, these are my dailies. And then I've shared with you some other things that have worked for me over time and things that I take very occasionally depending on the situation. And I just want to say a lot of things I tried, from cat's claw to licorice root to more ashwagandha to many different kinds of Chinese medicines to a bunch of other tinctures recommended by medical media, and I found through process of elimination that I didn't need to be taking all of those extra supplements, and this is just what works for me. I also love herbal teas. I grow a lot of them myself, and others I purchase. I purposely left them out of this video because I'm not really sure, again, if those count as supplements. A lot of them I can have or grow myself for no money, and they would replace what would have been a supplement, like lemon balm or lemon verbena or raspberry leaf. So if you want me to do a video on herbal teas, what I grow, what I buy, how I use them, leave a comment below and I'll get to that next. And now I want to talk about what supplements should you take? How do you know what's right for you? As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, supplements can't replace a bad diet. So I know it's so tempting to think if I just take that tincture, if I just have that one magic supplement, I'm gonna find one of these supplements that's gonna take all my symptoms away and I can keep eating the way I wanna eat or keep living the way I'm currently living and I'm not gonna have to do anything else. And it's because we're programmed for that, to look for the easy method, to make our lives easier. But unfortunately, that's just never going to be the case. So as I mentioned at the beginning, if you have to choose budget-wise between an expensive supplement and buying some more healthy food, I will always say, eat the healthy food. The absolute best thing you can do for your health is to change your diet and lifestyle and start there. What I did wrong was trying to launch into all these different things, and especially when I started on medical medium protocols, is I changed my diet and immediately tried to take all these other supplements I saw lots of people taking, and going through the book and finding all my different symptoms and trying to decide how many supplements should I take for each symptom, when in truth, a lot of the foods we eat and also a lot of these supplements I showed you today have multiple benefits, and you're healing your body as a whole system. So don't get too caught up in specific symptoms. I think that's where a lot of people trip up, is they want to take 10 things for anxiety or 10 things for depression, and they're forgetting that everything is working together, and something that might help your anxiety might also help your depression, and healing up your body and your mind, doing a lot of work for your mental health and changing your diet is probably going to have the biggest effect. So the first thing I would say is make sure you change your diet. And then very slowly you can introduce supplements that you think will help. And my second tip is to do that one at a time. So as I mentioned, a lot of people launch in, they'll take 20 at once, and then you can't figure out, are these helping me? Are these better than, before? If you're not feeling better, is one of these harming me or not working right with my conditions? And you won't know if you're taking too many. So the first thing is to start with your diet. And the second thing is to, if you feel the need to add in supplements, start with one at a time. And of course, don't supplement for conditions that you don't know that you have. So my third tip is to work with your doctor. Get a diagnosis. A lot of people are self-medicating or self-diagnosing, or going to naturopaths that might not have a doctor's experience in giving a proper diagnosis. So I was able to go to a lot of testing to find out that my thyroid was a problem. And in a lot of other areas, they weren't able to diagnose me. Obviously, anxiety and depression, those things were pretty obvious to me. But in the beginning, a lot of my symptoms made me think that I had PCOS or fibroids or something wrong with my reproductive system. And after much testing, I found out there was nothing wrong with my reproductive system. So I might have, if I'd not gone and got that testing, been taking or doing things that I didn't need to do. So my third tip is to work with your doctor, get a diagnosis, do testing. Are you low in vitamin D? Are you low in magnesium? Are you low in B12? Do you have a zinc deficiency? Find that stuff out if you're curious. And the last tip I want to leave you with is to find what's going to work for you. Don't follow all the recommendations of what one other person does. Unless you have every symptom that I have, probably you don't need to do everything that I'm doing. And likewise, you don't want to follow just one book or one person or one guru that tells you what you should be taking. You want to do some experimenting with yourself and document your experiences so you can find out what really works for you. So trust yourself and take it slow. Take it one day at a time. And like I said, add in one supplement at a time if you're trying to find out what's going to work for you. And give yourself some time between each new supplement, because a lot of times we can initially have a placebo effect where just because we know we're taking something good for us or doing something good for us, we feel better. So you want to give yourself a few weeks between each of those trials. So make sure that you're starting with a healthy diet and lifestyle, working with your doctor, getting tested, knowing what your real issues are with diagnoses, and then adding them in slowly, one at a time, and doing what's right for you. So I hope that's going to help you out. There's so many good resources out there. Definitely check out the medical medium books if you haven't yet, and read other books by medical doctors like How Not to Die by Dr. Greger. There are a ton of good resources. So do your own research and make sure you're really informed. So hopefully that helps you guys out. I hope you enjoyed this video. This was really highly requested. So if you haven't yet, please like this video below and hit the subscribe button. I make new videos twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays, and I'm so excited for everything else I have coming up for you guys. I'm going to have a healing thyroid disease video. I'm going to have a healing anxiety and depression video. I have a ton more recipes coming out, some zero waste DIYs, and of course my what I eat in a day vlogs. So also when you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell next to it and you'll be notified every time I make a new video. Thank you so much for watching and for being on this journey with me. I love you guys. See you later.